All right, guys, here we are for our first talk about the Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events show on Netflix. We just watched episode 1, and Lee, what'd you think about it?
I had this weird feeling at like several points like we've made a horrible mistake. Why are we watching this? Oh no, what's going on? Or something like that. But by the end, I was kind of like, this could be fine. There's eight episodes. Let's see what happens.
I ended with a similar thought of like, well, we'll suffer through this. I was not a big fan of this show so
Yeah.
far.
No, I'm
and
not a
again,
big fan.
episode 1 is it's a build-up exposition thing. I like a lot of how it's framed and how it's shot. I think there's a lot of
Yes.
really interesting visuals on screen, and that's mainly what carried me through it.
100%.
Because there was not really any dialogue or anything that I was like, oh well, this is good. It just left me
all
thinking,
right.
well, people are oblivious and dumb in this world.
Yes, some of the narration by Mr. Warburton made me kind of like happy or something. But in general, no. In general, was
It's
not
mainly just the visuals, the sets and the way things are shot.
Well,
Really
so,
nice.
Yeah, so for
Really
the
nice.
visuals, I got like a Wes Anderson vibe, like
Yeah.
Royal Tenenbaums, whatever, Rushmore-y, like the weird framing, like the wide shots for people in the sitting and the weird. It was weird, and it also had like a like old Tim Burton. Like
That's who
Edward
I was going to draw
Scissorhands,
onto.
right.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like that, where all the adults and all the humans are just these useless, weird like characters, like a John Waters or like a whatever movie. All these weird like people.
I loved the trolley car thing. I was like, it's shockingly small and it's like
Yes.
interesting. I was wondering, like, I've never really experienced the trolley in life, and I'm like, do they have them just running down the sides of streets like that? I think that's cool, like, because it seemed like it wasn't in like a main city where I've always experienced the trolley in TV shows, where it's running up like the hills of San Francisco and this and that.
Yeah.
And this was just like takes you to the beach, does this like this desolate shit beach.
Yeah, this seemed like a rudimentary train almost. You expect two people in the back to do like the thing
Yeah.
or something. It was not, because it wasn't like an electric thing with a thing, right? It was just like powered
At
by
one
its
point,
own
like
thing.
like the girl like grabs the walkie-talkie thing and goes like, "We'd like to go to the blah blah," and like it doesn't have a set stop.
Yeah.
I guess you just tell it when to go.
No, and like things like that. It is full of like weird things in the world where you're like, I guess we're doing this now, like this crazy.
Yeah.
And that's, and I assume this is for kids and actually for people younger than I thought. Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah,
'Cause
I
the
would think
dialogue-
these are like
yeah.
Harry Potter like age
Yeah.
books.
Because the dialogue made me even wonder, like, who is this for compared to, like, what is happening or something like that. And the amount of time taken with certain things. I was like, well, what is this? Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, like and like they're like brilliant and rich. They have the best combinations of everything.
They're all like, it's like three little Batmans.
Kinda like he has a crazy invention that grabs the rock out of the water. I'm like, well, that's crazy. Then like the little sister who like they can understand her, like kind of like she's like a Stewie in real life. They can understand her, but no one else can, and she can like chew rocks into perfectly polished
So-
circles.
So there I got a vibe like, there's like a fable, the Five Brothers or the Six Brothers or whatever. Are you familiar with this?
Tiki tiki tembo no sarembo.
I'm sorry, are you having a stroke? Was that from that? I have no idea.
I don't know.
All right. The point is, there used to be these weird old trippy cartoons, and I'm a little older than you or whatever, but like, so it was on Nickelodeon or on some channel or something like that, and they would do like Grimm's fairy tale things.
Okay.
And I remember even there was like a claymation version of this, and it appealed to me as a kid because they were like superheroes or something like that.
Okay.
But their powers were totally insane and not like superheroes. Like one guy was fast, like he had his leg tied up to his leg, and he would like hop around, and then during some part of like the thing where he had to go somewhere quickly, he like untied his leg and like ran really fast.
Why didn't he do it all the time?
That's what I'm saying. Is like
Okay.
the whole thing is this weird rompy thing. One of the brothers could like sew anything together and had like magic thread or something like that. And he sews an egg back together at like one point or some crazy things like that. It was a world where like everything was weird and crazy, like a James and the Giant Peachy world.
Okay.
Where it's like, do you have powers? And it's like, well, it's not powers. It's like this weird, like, that makes no sense, though. Like, supernatural? Like, what is this? I don't know. Yeah, it's just whatever it is.
Oompa! Broke a dish.
Hey, yeah. So like when the baby bites the rock, that was the moment where I was like, oh no, because everything is still ramping up. We're like 10 minutes into the episode or something
Yeah.
like that. We're kind of like this narration's kind of cool. Patrick Warburton is doing that thing. There's this theme throughout of like someone says a word and then they say this means that or whatever the fuck.
Well, I think because most
And
kids are dumb. Because if you think how
yes,
dumb the adults are in this world,
I
the
know.
kids shouldn't know anything.
Right. The first couple of times it happened, I liked it, and they even like lampshade it where like the guy who's like taking the kids to away says, and we mustn't be too hasty. Hasty means quickly, and he's like, we know what hasty means or whatever the fuck. But
Yeah.
yes, at some point I realized this is happening so much that this is because the audience may not know what these words mean, and this is making me very sad.
Maybe. What is the one they say like your parents have passed or whatever? Past means died or what? What
Something
is the
like
word
that.
he uses? But I was
Oh,
like,
I didn't write that down. That was really
yeah.
good. Deceased or something like that.
Yeah, it is a wonderful day. Your parents are dead. I was like,
I know.
oh, come right out and say it there, Chief.
He was the worst. He was the worst person. And he was like indicative of that whole vibe of like adults are useless. They barely know what's going on. It's the
Yeah.
kids who like know what's happening and can do all the things or whatever the fuck.
They
Which
were
I think
only
in a kid's
gone
thing
for a
is cool.
few minutes, it seemed like. How long do you
Yes.
think could they have been gone from their house that the fire happened, killed the parents, they're declared dead, and the banker knows where to find them and tells them?
I know. Completely crazy. How long were they chewing rocks and working out their plan?
That's what I'm saying. For the amount of time they were like, if it was as shown on screen, that banker had 4 minutes to start like getting there.
Well, plus like
Or he came in a car and was a little
I was gonna
fast.
say like they took the trolley. Maybe it's really slow or stops a lot, but we're definitely overthinking this. Is my
I
is my
try
main
to
point or
always
whatever.
overthink everything.
I know, and like this show is going to be brutal for that because that is
Yes.
totally not what it's about. Like at one point, and we're jumping ahead, but he gives them like a list of chores, and they're like, "We did it all" or whatever. And he's like, "What?" and all that stuff because
Yeah.
they can just. It's like it's like an Addams Family ish vibe or something where things don't make sense, but there's no excuse like in the Addams Family where like they're weird, super demon people or something like that. That's my internal interpretation of the Addams Family, that they have literal demonic powers.
My worry about like the adults especially is like the judge who lives across the street
Yeah.
is like the dumbest person I've ever seen in my life, and she judges your fate. That's terrifying.
No, and I think that that's part of the author, like maybe the
Is that her talking about our judicial system?
Yeah, and like I'm getting ahead of even my my own self in that. But so far, all of the adults that we've seen, except for the parents and like the narrator, are completely that way. They are like he works at the bank and she works for the like the newspaper, that like couple where they stay at the
Yeah.
house for a while, and they're both like the most horrible people in the world, but not even evil, just like horrible, just like
Yeah.
like Edward Scissorhands, like the Village People or like whatever the fuck, just like random.
They're pretty bad in
Yeah.
general, though. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
must be sad and blah blah. Say it.
I know. That's this horrible thing. Like, the horribleness, though, comes from, like, a self-centeredness and, like, a not understanding what's going on or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, a maliciousness or whatever. Because the judge even... there's so many things going on here. The judge is, like, personally hurt that, like, they didn't like her lamb and just says something like anything but lamb or some weird thing at like, one point. Whereas you'd want to say, like, wait, but he said all these things. Wait, no. Oh, he didn't?
Yeah,
Oh, and
that's-
you'd want to, like, do all that, right?
I don't, and like part of that is
You're making dinner? Why?
is like
Oh, wait.
annoying to me as an audience member,
Yes.
and like because again, I didn't really like much of what was on screen produced by these people. When it wasn't that they produced bad things, I think I just might not like the Lemony Snicket book.
Oh, yeah, totally. No, this was totally competently done, and they're clearly doing these things on purpose for, like, a
Sure.
reason. They're not, like, mistakes or, like, problems or whatever. This is, like, what they want to do.
And that's what
Yeah.
Jane Cusack as the.
Yeah, so I wrote down Robin Williams' robot sister from Toys, and then later, like, remembered that it was Joan Cusack. I
Joan
think.
Cusack.
Yeah. But I love her. She's great. She'll be fine in this, I guess.
Yeah, no, and she looked a lot better once they took the white wig off.
Oh, yeah, I was worried about her for a minute. I was
I was
like,
like,
"Oh."
oh, that library's dope though. Wouldn't mind having a library like that.
Yeah, a lot of the sets are good. A lot of the stuff is like.
Do you
good.
think Patrick Warburton? Do you think his scenes are a lot of filmed from a green screen, or do you think that they actually have these weird like I'm in the sewer now? I just pictured like it smells bad down here. Let me deliver my monologue.
Yeah, I think he's on certain sets, but I think a lot of the sets are like green screeny, like
Mm.
very greeny. There's like two things, then like a green screen or something.
I like that. I like that
Yeah,
a lot.
because a lot of it has a really weird like painted sort of feel, like
Yeah, and
surreal and
I
stuff.
love that feel actually.
Yeah,
I'm like huge into things being like outlandish and awesome, and this has that vibe across the board. But it just needs a better. And I'm hoping like episode 2 will just bring a more cohesive thing to me. Like it's a lot of jumping around, this and that, and whatever's. And I
yeah.
think that's the
Well,
if I understand the plot of Lemony Snicket, I think it's that like they keep going to different family members, and it keeps being
oh my God.
something.
Okay, spoiler alert. Fuck. Did you watch the So this is episode 1. So
Yeah.
like you said at the top of the episode, a lot of this for me is like, oh, well, maybe this is like we're ramping up, we're establishing things, and then we're gonna get down to it, and it's gonna be a certain thing or whatever the fuck. Did you
Yeah.
watch the
I saw the movie
Jim
with
Carrey
Jim
one?
Carrey, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So like,
they must describe Count Olaf in that like as that character because Jim Carrey looked very similar to how
yeah,
they have
yeah.
him look. Uh,
But do you
I don't know who I liked better. I like Neil Patrick Harris, but I don't feel like he got to really like NPH this up yet.
yeah,
We'll see if he gets into it.
I guess let's just because I was gonna talk about I don't like I've never seen anything or read anything about this before. I
Okay.
have no idea what's going to happen. And had you asked me, just from what I've absorbed through like cultural osmosis, what is this about? I would have said that sort of. I wouldn't have been able to guess the weird biting rocks and like magic inventions or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I would have known like yeah they go to live with this dude and he's horrible and whatever. But like now there's 7 more episodes, so I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. And if they do
And
go live with other people,
I
and
have
they're
seen the
all
movie,
weird,
but I
yeah.
can't remember really what happens. I remember like one thing, and I don't want to give you a spoiler.
No, don't ruin it for me. I want to experience it raw.
We'll see. But I don't even know. I think there's many books, and I don't remember if like that movie was like one book, and they thought
Yeah.
it would do better, and they'd make more books. And I don't know if this season is like each season's a book.
A book.
We'll
Yeah, I mean,
find
so
out.
like this could have been a movie if you just like resolved the problem and like they were no longer living with Count Olaf. Like you added like a few more
I don't even
horrible
think
things.
I can't remember how the movie even ended. I remember like literally 2 pieces of that movie because I didn't really care for the movie.
Okay.
But it had good visuals as well.
Weird that this is a thing from like a book you would know what to do with the candy of the visuals. But Count Olaf's the last major thing that we haven't like dug
Yeah.
into. I don't know.
He's
Count
totally.
Olaf.
I know for a fact he's totally different than he was in the movie. He wasn't. I don't think in like some singing troupe
Okay.
of minstrel actors or whatever. And they're fine. I enjoyed. I thought I chuckled at the guy that has the 2 hooks for hands, and he's like and then like they pour spaghetti for him.
I know. And he can understand the baby.
Yeah.
But the little ones that says they'll be pudding. I was like, that's amazing. I also like I don't want to say the one thing I liked, but the thing I liked with the Count Olaf was when he is like, and do you know what this is? And they go, the thing that it is, and he goes, wrong, the thing that it is, or like
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. I chuckled at that. I liked that thing or whatever.
Now NPH is great, and like there's really nothing I think he's been in that I'm like, NPH ruined it.
Poor choice.
Yeah.
I even liked him in Gone Girl.
There's a movie he was with Melissa Joan Hart, where
I
like
thought you were gonna say Medusa for a second.
Medusa.
That's not a person.
He was with Melissa Joan Hart, and they're in like Alaska or fucking some shit, and like the car like dies on the side of the road, and they have a baby, and they have to like get somewhere, and like it's like to not die, and they like put the baby in like a suit bag and like pack it with clothes, and like there was like trekking across the fucking Arctic tundra. Forget what that was called.
Is that like a serious movie?
Yeah, it
or-
was serious
Oh my
as fuck.
god. NPH.
That was like that was the first time I think I saw him in after Doogie Howser, so he was like still a young man.
Once he became 18, he wasn't the hotshot young doctor anymore.
I know, it's tragic.
But yeah, the song, the count. So these are my notes. Song, the count, dinner, roast beef, picks up baby. He slaps the dude kid.
Yeah, and he hit him pretty hard. So I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if he has a bruise, that's easy enough to get out of Olaf's problem.
Right, there's so much like that where I'm just like, So what is the show gonna be? They go live with other family members, but Count Olaf is still after them to get the fortune or something?
I think there's something that he plays up on being an actor, and he like dresses up like different people in each
Oh
thing.
my god! It's like let's go live with your aunt, whatever, but it's just NPH again.
I can't.
That might be
That's the
good.
part that I can't remember
Oh,
if it's always him
that could be
or
good.
if he's just there. Because I think people like keep dying,
Okay.
but like under mysterious things, and they're smart enough to realize like some shit.
Okay, so I think we should. Well, we'll end with that, I suppose, because this ends and you see the parents.
Yes, they've been kidnapped,
They're totally not dead.
and
It's totally.
and the dad is what's his face? God damn it! What is Batman's name? Will Arnett.
Is it in fact Will Arnett?
Yeah,
I
I didn't
didn't.
catch who the mother was.
I didn't notice who was who at all, but I did notice that it was like a Spy Kids thing, where like they are exactly like the like kids, and maybe the only other people on Earth that are cool or
Yeah,
good at anything
possibly.
anyway. Because she drops the same stupid thing of like, what's that thing, James Brown or Einstein or whatever. Seems to always be James Brown or Einstein. Always says or something like that. So yeah, they're totally not dead. The boy kid has that weird
Yeah, that
kaleidoscope
has,
locky thing or something like that.
and it has the same tattoo mark that we have on MPH's ankle.
And that symbol also appears like in back in the mansion as well as in MPH's like thing or something like that. It's in his like
It's
window
also
or
the
something
door
like
that leads to the library
where he's that's what I yeah
that
exactly,
Warburton goes in.
exactly.
Yeah,
So that symbol means something. They were kidnapped. Their like deaths were faked or whatever the fuck. I don't know if Count Olaf is even in on the kidnapping.
I don't think he is.
I'd have to figure that out because he literally said like, "Oh yes, lovely people, flammable," or something like that. And you're
Yeah,
like, "Oh god!" And literally, then it's been like what? It's been 3 days or something like that. What the
yeah.
fuck? It's wonderful. I don't know. This has potential. I'm not sure with the tone if it's going to be anything that I want it to be.
The idea that it's only 8 episodes make me like I'm like I can suffer through anything for 8 episodes,
Oh
and
yeah.
only 7 left.
That was my whole thing too. It's like, well, the first one's a little longer or something like that. It's only 8 episodes. I'm
Yeah,
interested because I've always, Lemony Snicket, and honestly, like when it starts and it's Patrick Warburton, and he starts talking and he's narrating and he likes the match and he's like, "You should leave. This is bad," and all that stuff. And then he goes, "I'm Lemony Snicket," and I'm like, "Oh shit, who's Lemony? What the fuck?"
yeah. I thought Lemony Snicket was the author.
Well, no, and like I do this. I did the same thing with the old one that I didn't see. Where I was like, yeah, Jim Carrey's Lemony Snicket or whatever, and he hates kids or something, and they were like, no, he's Count Olaf. Lemony Snicket is like the the narrator or like the author thing or
Mm.
whatever the fuck. And I was like, oh okay, but I totally forgot that in like the decade and a half since or something. And he's like, I'm Lemony Snicket. I'm like, wait, then who the fuck is MPH? What the hell is going on? And then luckily 22 minutes later, Count Olaf, and I'm like, oh okay, good.
I always thought it was like when they say like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. That was like
Yes.
Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. I thought
Right.
like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. Like I thought it was just the author.
I knew that it was like an in-universe authorial explanation of like the
Mm.
whole thing or something, but I didn't realize. I totally forgot about the Count Olaf and the whole layers and the whole fucking thing, because it's like someone telling you the story of the thing, which kind of explains
Yeah,
why everything is so one-dimensional and crazy over the top, I guess, or something.
he looks great
It's
too.
like 300.
He's,
Patrick,
yeah,
fuck
he,
yeah,
he looks
does.
better with age.
He's like a fine wine.
Really though.
Patrick Warburton's aging.
Yeah.
No, and like I haven't loved him in a lot of his like live action roles.
Big Trouble, best.
I was
The best.
I was just gonna say Big Trouble's really good, but that's one of the only ones that I even like remember or think has been really good. He was good in that like sorry you basic like college humor video where he's like a doctor diagnosing basic bitchness or whatever, but no like him as like a random dude I've haven't been super into or whatever.
Mm.
But I'm liking what I'm seeing here. He's like a weird man, like Men in Black dude in a suit talking about the fucking
Yeah.
you know.
Like a 1920s Men in Black, like the good times.
And I love that they like stick him into like the scene.
Yes.
When he was like on
the
the
trolley,
trolley,
yeah.
or then like they're at the beach, so he's up on the lifeguard thing wearing like
Yeah.
swim trunks, old school, like swimming trunks. I was like, this has got some style. This is fun.
When I saw him first on that trolley, the only thing I could think of there's like extras like really close to him, and I'm like it'd be really weird just to deliver this monologue with those people right there.
Fuck yeah.
But he did it like a boss.
Make eye contact. Deliver your fucking monologue, bitch.
There's one guy like in blind glasses, just like right on him. I'm like, all right. But no, it was decent. I didn't care for a lot of it, but
I agree.
it left me going like, yeah, I'll keep watching this because you put good people and good visuals and things, and like I'll ride it out. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it is interesting enough that I didn't come here today like we've made a mistake. We can't record this episode.
Yeah.
Fuck, you know. But it's definitely I have reasons for concern, but also reasons for hope.
Yeah, hopefully it'll rise up because if it honestly if it drops like if I'm
That's
like
gonna be
oh
awkward.
then I'll be like this is rough.
This is
But I'm
fucking
hoping
rough,
it'll
man.
build up and it'll be more
Game
humor.
over, man. We're fucked.
Until next time, guys, don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next week.